The impact of the COVID was, it was devastating.
It's a lot of fear because some people didn't believe that there was actually a virus, and then some were saying, oh, it's just a really bad flu.
African Americans only make up 5% of San Francisco's population, yet they account for more than 5% of the city's COVID cases.
A lot of people being scared because people had to stay in their houses, they couldn't go to work, so people are wondering, am I going to lose my housing? How am I going to feed people in my family?
A rare sight, a pickup game of basketball. Most have obeyed stay-at-home orders. The streets, empty for the past year, where the sense of loneliness is inescapable.
These are my glue sticks. This is everything that goes into a kit.
James Spangola is with Collective Impact at Ellie Hill Hutch Community Center.
I tell everyone, I can't solve all your problems, but I do try my best to take some of the weight off your shoulders, right?
James was instrumental in the Black community, securing COVID testing, PPE, meals, schooling, books, and funding for those falling behind in bills.
Once you gave community an opportunity to take care of community, they grabbed it and ran with it. Like they were so happy.
In the Bayview District, COVID-19 testing is available and now vaccines as well. But not everyone is eager to get vaccinated.
I think there's hesitancy for a variety of reasons.
DeAnthony Jones worked through the pandemic as the city's chief equity officer for COVID Command.
There has always been this issue of health inequities that has especially hit Black and brown communities.
Reverend Dr. Carolyn Ransom Scott agrees.
We've been used as guinea pigs without being told what, how, or why. So it makes them think, what are they sending us? This has been ongoing throughout history.
It's perfectly safe. You're not a guinea pig because you're not even close to first.
Dr. Ayanna Bennett works for the San Francisco Department of Public Health.
This vaccine is past the testing phase. Over 100,000 people were involved in the testing of these vaccines. They were tested on people of different ages, different ethnicities, different countries, and they are as safe as we've ever seen.
During clinical trials, after full immunity, which is 28 days, all vaccines were shown to be 100% effective against hospitalizations and death.
So my first experience with the coronavirus was March 7th.
Dr. Ransom Scott says it was after a 75th birthday party in 2020 that she contracted COVID.
And later, I thought I was dying. There was a person at the table with me that died.
That person was Stacy Ned's father, Clifton Ned.
I was fine until I actually had to go to the hospital and see him. That was the hardest part.
Back then, hospital visitors were allowed.
They did allow me to touch him. And then afterwards, I realized when they started telling me all the stuff about him, he couldn't even feel me touching him because they had him paralyzed.
Clifton was in a medically induced coma, unable to breathe on his own.
People are in there by themselves, but the good thing is that the nurses in there, they stay there and they hold their hand and they're there with them when they take their last breath, and that's something that we can't get back.
Clifton later died. Stacy remembers his funeral.
It was empty. I mean, you could only have 10 people there. It was hard.
Stacy decided to get the vaccine after speaking with her doctor.
I do get concerned about people's hesitancy, that they will wait till later. I'm very concerned that as we get more aggressive variants of the virus coming out, the people who leave themselves unprotected when that wave comes to us are going to be in worse shape than I think they might expect.
Dr. Bennett says other fears, that the virus will affect those trying to get pregnant, change one's DNA, or plant a government microchip are unfounded.
And it's like this, for those of us, I used to use drugs. I wasn't worrying about those drugs that I was putting in my body.
It felt fine. It didn't hurt like I thought it was.
Kizzmekia Corbett, an immunologist at the National Institutes of Health, is a scientist who helped develop one of the vaccines.
It's happening now because every single scientist, especially in the world, wants to make sure that we get through this. And I think it's very clear that science is the only way that we will.
The FDA says common side effects are arm soreness, fatigue, headache, chills, and fever. For DeAnthony, who had several family members who contracted COVID.
Considering that this hit our doorstep, we do not want this to happen again with different and more dire consequences. So I definitely want to get this vaccine.
I've got friends that say, have you got yours? I'm getting mine. So we want that same enthusiasm to be in the pulpits of our churches, to flow to the community of people so they know this is what we need to do.
I did it because I lead by example.
And I'm not telling people to go get it, I'm telling them not to go get it. I'm just telling them know the facts.
The hard part is you don't know which family you'll be. The family where everyone recovers or the family where the grandparents die. So if you get invited to get it, just go get it.
For those who say they won't get the vaccine,
I would tell them to think again, especially if you have elderly people in your family. Why would you want to keep putting people at risk or yourself at risk?
What will Stacy miss most about her dad?
Him playing the piano at home. He has a keyboard, he's self-taught, and he always played blues on his keyboard. And now it just sits there in the living room with nobody playing it.